He picked her up in bridal style. You read out loud through the book you were reading and squealed when your husband, Jimin, scooped you in his arms. He jutted his chin towards the book, asking you to read further. Then he threw her on the bed. You bit your lower lip and braced yourself for his next move. You frowned when he didn't do what you asked for. Instead, he seemed to be in deep thoughts. "Let's skip this. You'll get hurt," he said, making you heave a loud sigh. You squinted your eyes at him, indirectly pestering him to do it. He hesitated but soon gave in and threw you on the bed. You chuckled as you bounced on the mattress. Then he crawled on top of her. You explained, feeling your cheeks getting warm. You were sure you were blushing like a new bride. Crawl? You read romance between humans or between reptiles? You blinked your eyes in disbelief. Was he trying to crack a joke? If he was, it was lame. "Just do it. You are ruining my mood, and with that, you are losing your chance to get lucky tonight." His eyes widened and he shook his head and slowly crawled over you, looking down at you with predatory eyes. Then he whispered seductively and inched closer to your face. You tried to not smile but failed to do so as a small, bashful smile broke out on your lips. Then he kissed her senselessly. Your voice was low, almost a whisper. You gulped when you noticed him smirking down at you. His warm breath fanned against your face as he leaned down and captured your lips in a slow, toe-curling kiss. Your grip on the book loosened, and your hands found their way to his shoulders, pulling him down on your body. You sighed in between the kiss when his weight pressed down on you. His one hand cupped your cheek while the other one held one of your hands, intertwining them beside your head. The kiss heated up, turning wild and passionate as Jimin tried his best to do justice to your bookish fantasies. And as you said so, he did kiss you senselessly. You saw stars. A swarm of butterflies danced in the pit of your stomach, making you arch your back in anticipation. After a few minutes, he pulled back, breathing heavily. A string of saliva was still connecting your lips. The corner of his lips twisted into a teasing smirk while you looked away, flustered by the intense kiss. "What's next?" he whispered near your ear, his lips touching the edge of your earlobe. A jolt of electricity skittered down your spine. The temperature of the room turned too hot suddenly. Then he what? He cut you off, tracing his lips to her cheek, leaving wet and sloppy kisses. Then he kissed on her forehead. A smile made its way to Jimin's face as he held your jaw and turned your face to meet your eyes. He chuckled, noticing your red face, and leaned down to press his lips to your forehead. His lips stayed there for a moment longer, pouring down his love in just one kiss. You closed your eyes in bliss. Nothing made you feel more safe and loved than a forehead kiss. Then he whispered, pulling back slightly to look directly at your eyes. Your face flushed as you understood his intentions. You swallowed in shyness and fought back a smile. Then they cuddled and slept together in each other's arms. Jimin's smile slowly disappeared. You nibbled your lower lip to stop yourself from laughing when you noticed the clear disappointment on his face. They slept. You quickly put on a poker face and nodded your head. He let out a soft, disappointment whine as he pushed off your body and sat upright. All of the drama, the hard work was just to cuddle and sleep? He struggled to hold your laughter as he talked to himself. His expression appeared as though he was denied his favorite candy. "You sure they didn't do anything naughty stuff like some hanky-panky?" he asked, sighing in disappointment. You chuckled at his reaction and shook your head. "I wrote this book so I know what happens ahead. They just fell asleep like two good humans. And seeing the time, we should also go to sleep," you said, glancing at the digital clock which displayed 2 at night. He shook his head and whined like a stubborn kid. He dropped his head on his stomach and blinked innocently. "If there is no hanky-panky stuff in your story, why don't we do ours? I mean, there's no harm, right?" You raised an eyebrow hearing him. Observing the smirk that stretched on his lips, you knew something was going on in his pervert head. and your assumptions proved right when he traced his index finger on your neck and dragged it down. But before he could reach your cleavage, you slapped his hands away. "Keep your hands to yourself, pervert human," let out a sulky grumble in response, burying his face in your stomach. "You are so cruel," he mumbled against your stomach. His words, though muffled, reached your ears. You glided your fingers through his silky locks, making him sigh in ecstasy. "Let's get naughty, a little bit, please." He lifted his head and puckered his lips, trying to melt you with his charms. But it wasn't easy to coax you, especially when you had an 8 months experience of dealing with his tricks. "I am tired, you are tired, so the best option is to sleep. So get off me and lie down on your side, so that we both can go to sleep peacefully." He groaned, nevertheless occupied the space beside yours. "I'm gonna call the men's helpline someday. You're too cruel to your poor husband." He grumbled, putting the book aside and shifted closer to you. You burst into fits of laughter, earning a glare from him. "You are so dramatic," you said amidst your laughter. He rolled his eyes and coiled his limbs around you, nuzzling his face in the nook of your neck. "Did you miss me?" he asked after a brief moment of silence. You decided to tease him a bit more, thus you shook your head. "No, I did not. I had a great time with Mom and Dad." He lifted his head off your neck and glared at you. You grinned, enjoying every bit of his frustration. "I swear I'll start crying if you don't stop teasing me. I'll run from one corner of the room to the other and it will be hard for you to calm me down." He threatened, showing you his big eyes. His cute warning only made you laugh. "Fine, I did miss you. Did you miss me?" He smiled in contentment and buried his face back in the warmth of your neck. You felt him nodding slightly, his arms tightening around you. "No matter how much time I spend with you, I start missing you the moment I separate from you," he mumbled with utter sincerity, your heart filled with warmth at his honest confession. You never thought this marriage would conspire in something so beautiful you had never dreamt of. The marriage, which was just a mere business arrangement to protect your dad's company from collapsing, would turn out to be the best part of your life. "Liar, you don't miss me how you miss that metallic mistress of yours. I hate it. Always sticks to you like a second skin." You scrunched your nose in distaste, throwing glores at his laptop. Jimin laughed in amusement. He was aware of your dislikeness towards the laptop. Not that he could question it when he himself got jealous of your book boyfriends, which weren't even real. "Well, you can't say that. You know it is my first love. It was in my life before you. So you need to adjust here, my love, like I am adjusting among your book boyfriends." He grinned mischievously and looked up at you, resting his chin on your chest. "You know, I'm planning to extend my family with my first wife. A mini laptop would look good between us, wouldn't it? What do you think? Should I go ahead?" You threw your head back and laughed loudly. "Don't laugh, I'm serious. Would you like to be the stepmother of a mini laptop?" You were laughing so hard that tears split from the corner of your eyes. Seeing you being so happy around him broke out a genuine smile on his lips. Nothing seemed more beautiful to him than the woman he loved glowing with happiness because of him. Though he was against this marriage in the beginning, he couldn't deny that it was the best thing ever happened to him. Being so happy and so in love with his significant other, what else he could wish for? Now he just wished the love between you both only grew with each passing moment. You both made a bond so strong that no force could waver it. "God, I'm so late," you mumbled, rushing towards the kitchen. But your steps halted near the threshold when you noticed your father-in-law. Though his back was facing you, his careful and calculative moves hinted that he was doing something he was restricted from doing. You tiptoed towards him and peeked over his shoulder. You sighed when you noticed him having ice cream. You stepped back and crossed your arms across your chest. "What are you doing, Dad?" He flinched. The spoon from his hand slipped and hit the counter. With slow and deliberate motion, he turned to face you. You raised an eyebrow, which, when he gave you an innocent smile, he looked like a deer caught in the headlights. Morning, my beautiful daughter. What were you doing? You squinted your eyes at him, making him gulp. Me? I wasn't doing anything, and I wasn't eating ice cream at all. His pupils enlarged when he split the truth in panic. He chuckled in nervousness and rushed towards you. He held your hands between his. Don't tell your mom about it, or that woman will kill me. I ate only 2 spoons. Really? Only 2 spoons? I can see half of the ice cream tub empty. He looked back at the tub and bit his lower lip. You fainted a few days ago. The doctor said you need to take care of yourself, and here you are, eating ice cream like a kid. That's not good, Dad. I'm sorry. I swear I won't repeat it, but don't tell your mom this time. He looked at you with pleading eyes. You thought for a while and then sighed in defeat. Fine, but only this one time. If you repeat it, I'm gonna go and tell mom. Also, I won't save you from punishment. You know how much she cried that day when you fainted? He smiled and nodded. I promise no more sneaking bites of sweets. Now, can I finish the rest of the tub? You gaped at him in disbelief. You want me to call mom? He shook his head instantly. Then no more ice cream. I'm making carrot juice for you. No, You narrowed your eyes at him, thereby stunning him into silence. And no tantrums. You will finish the whole glass of carrot juice. He lowered his head in defeat and followed you as you proceeded to make the juice for him. Meanwhile, he gathered the essentials to make breakfast for you both, as Jimin and his mom weren't at home. Jimin had already left for the office when you were sleeping, and Jimin's mother was out of the town. She went to visit her sick friend and would be arriving by the evening. You were enjoying evening tea with your in-laws. They were reciting the old times tales with you about their love story, Jimin's childhood, and some other funny incidents. Do you have any special plans for tomorrow, sweetie? She asked, making a frown in confusion. Tomorrow? Is there something special? You watched as they exchanged a glance and shook their head in helplessness. You were puzzled by their exchange. Did you miss something? Tomorrow is your birthday. Jimin has rubbed off on you completely. He too forgets his birthday every year. You blinked as the word sank in. You used to be so excited about your birthday, but after marriage, every day was so full of happiness that you forgot about it. Great that you don't have plans. We can throw a party. After all, it's our daughter's first birthday with us. Her face shone with excitement as she proceeded to discuss the party ideas with your father-in-law. Meanwhile, you heard them with a smile, considering yourself lucky to have them in your life. After Jimin's father's health deteriorated, Jimin took charge of managing the entire business. Thus, he remained busy most of the times. But they never made you feel alone. As Jimin was still settling with the business, they tried their best to keep you happy. And their efforts paid off as you enjoyed spending time with them, especially the time when Jimin's dad would show you his dance moves. Mom, Dad, I respect your efforts, but can we just celebrate at home? I really don't want a grand celebration. They paused their discussion and looked at you. For a moment, you feared if you had hurt their feelings, but then they smiled. Sure, it's your special day, and your comfort matters the most. We'll celebrate at home. I'll bake a cake for you, and I'll eat it. She darted a stern glance at him, making him avoid her eyes. No, you won't. In fact, you'll stay a mile away from all the sweets. I'm going to call the men's helpline. You are so cruel to me. You burst into laughter hearing him. No wonder Jimin was so dramatic. He had taken after his father. However, your laughter died down when you noticed their gaze stuck at you. You stammered, forgetting with your fingers, but then their laughter echoed through the stillness of the serene evening. You too joined them. As you stepped into the living room, your in-laws jumped in front of you. Happy birthday! They sang loudly, making you close your ears and reflex. Your mother-in-law popped the party popper. The confetti flew in the air, going in every direction, some landing on your head. Your father-in-law tried to pop his party popper, but it seemed like it was stuck. I'm trying, he groaned, struggling to pop it. Jimin's mother watched him struggling for a while until she lost her patience and snatched it from him. Watch me, old man, she said, popping it with a flick of her wrist. Jimin's father opened and closed his mouth like a fish, shock and disbelief marring his face. I would have done it if you hadn't snatched it from me. He grumbled under his breath. She ignored him completely and dragged her towards the coffee table where a cake was placed. Jimin's father made you wear a birthday cap. You chuckled and said, Dad, I'm not a kid. For us you are. Come on now, cut the cake and feed me first. Wait, let's call Jimin. Is he still sleeping? Sleepyhead. Your face saddened. He hadn't wished you. Last night he came late and went to sleep instantly, and then he left early in the morning when you were sleeping. Mom, he's not home. He has already left for office. How could he? Didn't he know it's your birthday? Let me call him and give him a peace of mind. She was about to call him, but you stopped her. No, Mom, let it be. He must be busy, or maybe he's planning something. Let's cut the cake. He'll come around eventually. She sighed and nodded. You put on a smile for them, but deep down you were upset. He could at least wish you. Did he forget your birthday? You were trying to coax yourself into that it wasn't a big deal. However, you couldn't help but feel sad. You cut the cake and feed your mother-in-law. Despite her denying it multiple times, your father-in-law sneaked a bite and ran behind the couch. You shook your head when she chased after him, scolding him for his stubbornness. Your attention diverted to your phone, which pinged with a notification. A smile made its way to your lips when you saw that it was a text from Jimin. You opened it and your smile widened when you read his text. Happy birthday, my love. I'm sorry I couldn't wish you in the morning. I had to rush for a meeting. There's a gift for you in the mailbox. Check it. You rushed outside to check the mailbox and returned with an envelope with your name. With great excitement, you tore it open and unfolded the papers. However, your excitement died down and your smile vanished when you read the papers. Divorce papers? Your hands trembled and tears stung your eyes. Your in-laws noticed the sudden change in your demeanor. They walked over to you and looked at the papers. A frown marred their face when they read the papers. Must be a misunderstanding. You mumbled to yourself, but the papers clearly displayed your and Jimin's names. On top of that, there was his signature at the bottom. Everything couldn't be a misunderstanding. Mom, see, these are fake, right? You looked at her as tears rolled down your cheeks. Her eyes softened and she pulled you in a hug. You sobbed on her shoulder, clutching the papers tightly in your hands. Why? Why is he doing this? Everything was going fine. We confessed our feelings for each other, and then why does he want divorce all of a sudden? She kissed your head, equally distressed by the situation. I'm gonna call him here. He has gone mad. I'll knock some senses in his head. He gritted out and pulled out his phone to call him. The call went unanswered. He tried to call him again, but again there was no response. Someone has wished for that today, he mumbled, and this time he called Jimin's assistant. The call was answered within 2 rings. Kevin, tell your boss that his father wants him home within 15 minutes. I don't care what he is doing, I want him home. Saying so, he hung up without hearing the response from other side. Don't cry, Ryan. We are here for you. We are gonna deal with him. He said and patted your head gently as you were still sobbing in Jimin's mother's arms. Jimin came home panting heavily. It appeared he had run all the way back to home. He was seen in the living room. You were crying in his mother's arms while his parents were glaring at him. What? What happened? He looked confused. It should be us asking you this. What happened? He looked at his father, who stood in front of him, looking angry. He had never seen him so enraged before. What are you talking about, Dad? What is this? He uttered, showing the papers on his face. Jimin stepped back, looking at the papers and then back at his father. Divorce papers? And who sent these? I did. Why the hell you sent these papers? He snapped, making him flinch on his spot. You seemed happy. Wyan was happy. Then what is this nonsense? Jimin still looked confused as he looked between his enraged father and his wailing wife, and then everything started making sense. His eyes widened and he tried to step towards you, but his father blocked his way. Not a step towards her until you explain the mess you created. Dad, I'll explain, but let me talk to Wyan for once. He tried to walk past him, but he didn't let him come near you. Dad, okay, Wyan, have you read the letter? You glared at him through your glossy eyes and looked away. Which letter? I sent a letter along with these papers. Have you read it, Wyan? You snapped your head towards him, glaring at him with blazing eyes. No letter is going to justify this. You won't divorce, right? I'm gonna do it. No. His words halted midway when he noticed the luggage beside you. No, God, no. You can't leave me. I won't let you go. Quit playing. It's you who want a divorce. Besides, she isn't leaving. You are. The luggage has your stuff. After divorce, our daughter will stay with us. You can find another house to stay in. You are no longer welcome here. Jimin's jaw dropped when his father pushed the luggage towards him. Gosh, you guys are so impulsive. Mom, at least you listen to me. He tried to talk to his mother, but she removed her slippers and threw at him, which he dodged at right time. I dare you to come near me, Park Jimin. I'll break your bones. He gulped, feeling helpless among them. He ran a reckless hand through his hair and heaved a loud sigh. My impulsive family, please read the letter before jumping to conclusions. If you guys would want me to leave after that, I will. But please, the letter first. He took the envelope and pulled out the letter from it. Wyan, if you are reading this, it means you have seen the divorce papers and probably want to kill me right now. But please, hear me out. When we got married, it wasn't because we wanted to. It wasn't because we chose each other. It was out of duty to our families, to our names. But over these past months, something changed. I changed. I fell in love with you, Wyan, truly, deeply, in a way I never expected. I don't want this marriage to be something that ties us down out of obligation. I want to start over from the beginning. I want us to choose each other, not because our families demand it, but because our hearts do. So yes, I'm giving you divorce papers. Let's end this marriage and then let's get married again. This time out of love, not out of duty. Will you marry me, Wyan, for real this time? Yours forever, Jimin. By the time you finished reading, your hands were trembling, your heart pounding wildly in your chest. You looked up at Jimin, tears streaming down your face, but this time they were tears of something much more complicated: joy, relief, disbelief. Jimin walked towards you and cupped your cheeks, brushing away your tears with his thumbs. I am sorry I scared you, my love, he whispered, his eyes shimmering with a mixture of regret and hope. I thought this would be romantic, but I never meant to hurt you. Romantic? You nearly gave me a heart attack. You choked out, half laughing, half crying. He let out a soft laugh, pulling you close. His parents went away to give you both privacy. I wanted to give us a real beginning, a chance to marry each other for love, not because we were told to. And the papers? You asked shakily, glancing at the divorce papers crumpled on the floor. Just a formality, but if you would rather keep our old vows, I'm okay with that too, as long as I have you. Your heart swelled with so much emotion you thought it might burst. You wrapped your arms around his neck, burying your face in his shoulder. Just a minute. You frowned in confusion when he parted away and pulled out a small ring box from his pocket. But he didn't stop after one. He pulled out another and another until there were 10 ring boxes. Oh, I didn't know which one to choose, so I just bought the top 10 designs. He scratched his neck in mortification, earning a laugh from you. So, will you marry me? Before you could reply, his mother's loud voice rang in the living area. Get on your knees, idiot. Chivalry is so dead in this park, man. You both looked towards her and found Jimin's father palming her mouth and dragging her away from there. You and Jimin looked at each other and burst into fits of laughter. He knelt on one knee and smiled at you. So, it's a yes or it's a yes. You idiot. Of course I'll marry you again, 1,000 times if that what it takes. He grinned and then he took his time slipping the 10 rings in your fingers and thumbs. To your surprise, they fit perfectly. I would have married you without a ring too. I know, but I didn't want my mother beating my ass saying chivalry is so dead in Parkman. You laughed as he rose to his feet and pulled you in his arms. I love you so much. I love you more. Jimin smiled, and then he was pulling you into a sharing kiss, pouring all his love, all his relief into that single moment. This time there was no family pressures, no business deals hanging over you, just two people promising to love and cherish each other for who they were.